Hi everyone and welcome to my team on F1 2020. We're going to go straight into this now then. There's our driver. He's not much different from the one that I've had in most of the Cody's games so far, so there wasn't really much point going through that again. But we're going to go straight then into the creating of our team, and as you'll be able to see from the title, an old name is returning to the grid, but not quite in the way that you might think. This new team then coming to the grid is Holloway Racing Team, and yeah, that conveniently can be shortened to HRT. But yeah, Holloway is my surname. I know there's another F1 YouTuber who has used the name HRT in their career mode, but you know, this is a name that I've used many times in the past, so I did not copy them, if that's what you're thinking. Anyway, we're going to move on then to the sponsors now, and this one I wanted to have one that would have a nice big sign-in bonus, but at the same time didn't want one that would be, you know, unrealistic in terms of what we could achieve. I actually didn't realise at first that there were more than just these four. I was thinking that these were sort of not that great, and I didn't realise that there were more on the other page. But I wanted one that had a nice big sign-in bonus then, because the plan for me was to have the Ferrari engine, because I wanted just to have like the best possible car that I could from the start, even if like it meant that we didn't have the best teammate. So we went with Shark. I think that's 5 Constructors Championship points there. I think that's reasonable if we keep on improving the car over the season. So I thought that would be doable there. Now this was recorded back during like the first week of the game coming out, so like performance upgrades in these first few episodes may not be what they are now at the time of uploading. But as you can see, the drivers that I was given as possibilities to sign, none of them were the cheap ones. You could get some for like 750k, but I just wasn't given any of those. So yeah, that plan went out the window then, and I ended up instead having a Mercedes engine then instead, and that did mean that we could at least sign a better driver then. I mean, I know that at this point Jordan King, actually looking at that, would have been the best driver to have picked for this, but I decided to go with Callum Ilott just because he's my favourite. I know it doesn't make the most sense because he's a Ferrari junior driver, but I just decided to go with one of my favourite of those options there. So yeah, Ilott then is our teammate for this, and yeah, he doesn't have the pace of King, sort of looking back at this, but yeah, I'm sure he'll still be a decent teammate for us then. Here is our car's livery, and as you can see, it is a hot mess, I think you could say. I mean, it's so bad that I kind of really like it, just because like the fluorescent blue is definitely going to stand out. I think it goes well with the Shark sponsorship as well. And then I was thinking of just going like bright red, but I thought maybe not. That's Ferrari's colour. We went with burgundy, and I forgot that that's Alfa Romeo's actually. But yeah, this is a mess. I didn't actually realise as well that you can change all this at any time as well. So for this first episode, things are gonna look a mess really, because I didn't really plan any of this, like how it was gonna look. I just sort of made it up as I went along really. So that's why my team suits do not match at all. But that will all be sorted for the next episode, because in this one as well, you're going to see that I accidentally made my colour the exact same as Alfa Romeo's on like the graphics, like on there, like the little icons. But yeah, I'll have that fixed for the next one. But we're going to move on now then to well, we've got our team colours then. There's our badge. I really did not know what to do for that. There were some that looked like letters, but there wasn't one for H, so I couldn't really go with that. So we've got whatever that is there, which kind of looks like a half-eaten dartboard, but I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna now move on then, because we've got our car and our race suits that don't match at the moment, and we're now gonna start then our season. Just have a look here then at what races are cut out. If you do the shortened ones, we are going to do the full season, certainly for season 1. Possibly we will shorten it to 16 for future ones, depending on how I feel about, doing the full calendar or not. But certainly for this first season, we're going to stick with the 22 races. And for qualifying, it probably won't make much of a difference here because we'll probably be at the back anyway. But we are just going to do the short qualifyings just because I don't really want to go through all of that, like the hour qualifying. In terms of AI difficulty, 105 seems to be around about where I am at the moment, but we can review that as the season goes on. And flashbacks, we have them on for the time being. I'm going to try and use them as little as possible though, and hopefully have them turned off sooner rather than later. I think I can work towards that. Qualifying non-strict, race starts manual, tyre temperature, surface and carcass, most of the hardest settings here then. And in terms of assists as well, we're just going to have everything turned off because that's what I race with normally. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing for those settings. We're now then at the team's factory, and here is then the new sort of menu that you have when you're at the team's headquarters or the base, whatever you want to call it. R&D tree then looks very similar to how it has done in the most recent games. As I said, the performance isn't quite accurate because I recorded this back during the first week of the game. So for this first episode, it's not going to be quite accurate. Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, Haas, they're all going to be dropping down a bit in future episodes. And all these new facilities and all these new options to look through, and it was a lot to take in to begin with. But we've got then these new facilities that we don't have the money to upgrade yet. And we will also have as well, I think we're going to look at in a minute then, the new activities thing. We're not going to quite get to that though yet. We're going to have a look then at some new parts that we can upgrade, because we're lacking a lot in aerodynamics and chassis at the moment. We've got a good engine in the back of it, but we do need to improve the actual the chassis and the aero, and we could do with probably a bit more durability as well, I guess, but we do have a few of those on the car already, so that's alright for us then. And we are now going to look at the activities. I probably won't show these in every episode, but I'll just show you them now then, just to see, so you can see what it's like. But it's quite cool this, because it gives you opportunity to upgrade various parts of your team. But the first event that we've got is on March the 6th, and it's going to be the reveal of our car. And moving on from that then, we are now at the team's first ever Grand Prix, the 2020 Australian Grand Prix, here at the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne. And here we are then in the garage with the same old practice programs that have been in the previous games. Some slight changes because of how the ERS has changed, but here then is our car on track for the first time in Australia. And it's only going to be standing out a lot with those fluorescent light blue wings and side pods, but out on track then we'll see if it is at all competitive. This is a track that I've driven many times in other F1 games, so the track acclimatization wasn't too much trouble at all then, and we managed to get a nice purple score on that one. And then on the tyre wear test, I was also pleased to see that actually no, I've got ahead of myself there, because at the end of the track acclimatization program, things didn't quite go to plan. I lost the back end there. I noticed that the car didn't have a lot of rear grip, and we did damage the front wing there, so not the best start. But then as I was about to move on to, I got ahead of myself there. I was quite pleasantly surprised at how good tyre wear was. I think my driving style does suit it, but I was quite happy with that. I did have to put a bit more rear wing on the car, as I was saying, because the rear grip wasn't too great, but I was still very happy with just how good the tyre wear was sort of that early on. And in terms of fuel as well, we managed to pass that one without too many issues as well, so that was good to see, and that gave us some more resource points which we could then use on the chassis. So yeah, we do need to upgrade those two areas quite a lot, the aero and the chassis. So yeah, we've already got one coming on the aero, hopefully, and now we've got one for the chassis as well. On to FP2 now then, where we've got the ERS practice program. That's changed a lot, obviously, because the ERS has been much more simplified now, which I'm very happy about, although the one downside is that this practice program doesn't really make a lot of sense now, because in the race you don't really ever run on 0 unless your battery's empty. So yeah, you can't really apply this to the race like what you do in this practice program, because it's just sort of spamming the overtake button as you're building at speed and then making sure that you don't drop out of the purple or the green when you do it. But then you just have to do it to bring your delta down a bit, and we just about then, it took us 2 attempts that time, but we just about managed to get into the purple on that one. So that was another successful practice program there, as Roman Grosjean has had an absolute mare there then, trying to pass a racing point and has gone straight into the barriers. On to the race strategy then. We've managed to get a green, but then we see Carlos Sainz here line this up into turn 1. Up the inside he goes, but then he just parks it in turn 2. He's going to run us out wide. We go off the track, exceed track limits, and that is going to prevent us now then from getting a purple score in this one. So that's a bit frustrating there, but still we managed to pass it. Now moving on to the final practice then, and the final practice program, the qualifying program, and once again just single lap pace just is not something I'm very strong at, it seems. And yeah, just wherever I did, I thought it was a good lap I was doing here, but it was just nowhere near the pace of what they wanted, and it was estimated 21st, so that's not great, but I mean at least we're not going to be on the back of the grid then, judging by that pace. So I'd say that is somewhat of a win then, considering it's our first ever Grand Prix. There's the resource points then that we've racked up from practice, both of us putting in some work there, which is good to see there. And yeah, that's a positive start I think overall to the weekend. We're now moving on then to our first qualifying, and is it possible, could we avoid the back row of the grid? I don't know. It looks like, judging from the car development screen, it said that we were faster than Williams, but yeah, we just don't know really until we get into we get to the end of this session really and see just how quick we are, as we are now on our first flying lap. Then in the session we can see some early lap times coming in, then Verstappen going fast already. We once again letting the back end slide out a little bit there going through that corner, but I think on the whole the car felt a lot more stable as the weekend went on and we made some tweaks to the setup, so I was still quite happy with the balance here. I think just maybe pushing a little bit too hard. We're going to be nowhere near that 19.6 Hamilton set. We're nearly 2 seconds off in 6th and the slowest time at that point. And I unfortunately made a bit of a mess of the rest of qualifying, to be honest. On my second run here, I didn't realise that I hadn't put it into max. I was running in rich. I forgot that there was the max setting after that as well. So I made a right mess of that. I didn't know why I was going so slow on my delta, and then I realised that I was in the wrong engine mode, so that wasn't great. And then I accidentally left it too long to start my final run, so that was a bit of an embarrassing mistake to make there. I was having a bit of an issue I think with it wasn't letting me select my tyres at the point that I wanted to do it, but yeah, then once I finally managed to get it done, I didn't quite have enough time here. But I actually thought I did have enough time. As you can see, we've got 1 minute and 30 here, and we're past the line there, so I was thinking maybe we'd have enough time, but really I'd have had to push for the entire lap, and that wouldn't have been ideal. We nearly got there, and then I track extended there, and then we were about a second away from the line anyway. So unfortunately I made a bit of a mess of the rest of qualifying there, which is kind of a shame, and we ended up 20th on the grid. I do think my first lap there was pretty good, pretty good in terms of the best I could have done. Callum Ilott did out-qualify us then by a couple of tenths, so yeah, maybe there was another couple of tenths in it for us, but we probably would have only gained 1 place back on him anyway. Sebastian Vettel then is on pole from Charles Leclerc, and Lewis Hamilton is third. It looked like it was a Mercedes 1-2, Ferrari 1-2, Mercedes 3-4, and Red Bull 5-6 there up at the front. We were 19th and 20th then, so we do avoid the back row. But yeah, not the best start then. We got out qualified by our teammates, so not the best start personally for us. But yeah, I think we can go into this first race then with a bit of optimism. Hopefully we can stay ahead of the Williams then, and it's looking like a nice clear race then. A bit of cloud in the sky, but we're now going to head then into our first Grand Prix.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at Albert Park, home of the Australian Grand Prix since 1996, and home to round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. Just south of Melbourne's downtown business centre is the one and only Albert Park circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy circuit with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake and a couple of good passing opportunities here as well, thanks in part to the DRS zones into turns 1, 3 and 13. Can Mercedes start with victory in their bid to win a 7th consecutive Constructors' title? Could Ferrari or Red Bull establish an advantage early on? And with 22 cars on the grid, how quickly can the new team find their footing? Well, it's great to be back, Anthony Davidson. We've got a lot to talk about this year.
That's right, Crofty. It felt like a long winter, but it's good to finally be back. I have to think the usual suspects will battle it out at the front, but there are always going to be some teething problems early on in the season, so whoever can keep on top of their issues will have the advantage today.
As I mentioned earlier, we're up to 11 teams this season, with a new entry run by, well, of all things, an owner-driver. That's something we haven't seen in this sport since HRT ARE BACK over 4 decades ago. So how are they looking so far?
Ever since their participation was announced, there were questions being asked about whether an outfit like this could survive, and certainly it's proving to be a trial by fire so far. Let's hope they can continue to draw in investment and find a little more pace as well.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Alexander Albon and Verstappen, Sainz, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi and Esteban Ocon, Norris, Ricciardo, Romain Grosjean and Perez, Magnussen, Stroll, Pierre Gasly and Daniel Kvyat, Ireland, the scientist, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
We're just moments away now then from the start, and we're having a look then at our strategy for this race. Only half a second, I should say, over the whole race distance between these two strategies apparently. We used all our sets of softs in qualifying, so we won't have a fresh set if we start on the softs, which they're saying is going to be the half a second over a whole race distance better. I think that we can make the soft tyres, the medium tyres I should say, work. I think having fresh mediums could work to our advantage, and at the start, even if it's saying it will be slightly slower over a race distance, I think that, you know, we can make that work a bit better for us. It looks like our teammate has done the exact same thing then alongside us on the grid. The two Williams though behind us have both gone for the soft tyres, so certainly have to watch out for them then at the start, because yeah, they'll be looking to pass us then. Same engine in all 4 of those cars, but it looks like at this point we do have the slight advantage, but yeah, they will have the tyre advantage then at the start of this race certainly. I think the most important thing for us then will be to try and maintain a good pace then at the start, not drop too much time then, because we will be on slightly slower tyres, and I think we could be on for a decent result then. Points are not looking likely, but I think if we can get a good finishing position then that will, you know, it could help us. You never know, if there are some retirements we could finish high up in like the order, get like a good 12th or 13th. You never know how valuable that could be if, you know, there are teams down at the bottom not scoring points. As we're lined up on the grid then, and the lights are coming on now, and we are underway then for the first time then for the new HRT Holloway Racing team. We're side by side with our teammate then, but he is streaking away from us now then. Russell has had a good start on the outside then, as we expected, as Ilott has driven into us a bit there and squeezed us out. We have dropped to the back then and we hopped over turn 1 there, so it's not the best start. Latifi looks like he has passed Ilott as well then. Down into turn 3, we're going to be very careful here. We don't want to run into the back of anyone, damage our car, and certainly not our teammates as well. So yeah, we're very cautious there then, making sure we don't run into the back of them. But we have dropped down to last place, which is obviously not where we want to be then, as there has been an incident up in front of us then, almost coming to a stop there, the field through that corner, and the VSC is out, and not surprising with a lot of debris out on the track. As we see a replay then of the start, the two Ferraris lead away then, and it was very close there, it looked like, between the two Mercedes then, down towards turn 1 as well, but Vettel led the way. And as we can see then, into turn 1, it looked like it's 3 wide there. I thought he squeezed this, but he did have Latifi on the outside then, and it was Lando Norris then in the McLaren who got it all wrong there, and yeah, he's then collected Magnussen, and I didn't quite see who that other driver was there. It was, I think it was one of the Renaults there, so yeah, not the best corner for him there then, completely losing the back end and going into the barriers, as the VSC then is already cleared by the end of the lap, and we're back underway then, and we're going to use that chance straight away then to dive at the inside of our teammate as there's more yellow flags for some reason. We didn't quite make it past the Latifi there, then we had to be a bit careful though because of yellow flags, and we have got Norris, Magnussen and Ocon, and that was the Renault that he hit then. They all are in the pits now then, so that's not a good start to their season then. All 3 of those cars then, but it looks like they've picked a damage, but it looked like it was Norris in the McLaren that really sort of initiated all of that then, with that that moment then up towards turn 6, I think that corner is, maybe turn 6 or 7, as we had to defend there from our teammate as he was looking to get back past then, and as I was fearing slightly then, by lap 4 the 2 Williams were pulling away from us a bit. We were just about keeping Ilott at bay. He wasn't really getting close enough to challenge us and trying to go for a pass, but we did seem to be very tight here on pace. I didn't really want to let him go because I was concerned that maybe if I did then I may not be able to keep up with him, but yeah, as I say, he wasn't really challenging us at this point, but yeah, there was a bit of a gap starting to form there to the 2 Williams in front of us. But by lap 6 then, we had actually managed to reel them back in, so yeah, what I was kind of hoping would happen, I guess, kind of did in a way then. The soft tyres starting to go off then, I would imagine, and that was what we were waiting for then, for the medium tyres to come back into play, and we are now back within DRS range then of the 2 Williams drivers. Ilott is being dragged along behind us as well then, so this could be a 4-way fight then down at the back of the field, although we do have 3 cars as well, 3 further cars behind us as well then, who have all had to pit early. They'll probably be in again, so we could well be in a race with all of them as well later on in this one then. As we do have DRS then, it's going to be quite hard for us to pass Latifi though, because he is getting DRS from his teammate as well, so yeah, he's getting a nice slipstream there and the boost from his rear wing, so it's going to be very hard for us to out-drag him then, especially as we've both got the same engine as well. Down towards turn 3, we're not quite close enough then to go for a lunge there. That would have been very ambitious indeed if we had managed to go for a move there, and it would have been very unlikely that we managed to get it done then cleanly. As we skip to lap 8 now then, where we're still right in behind the 2 Williams now, we can see a few cars then, it looks like are starting to pit further up the field. I think one of the Mercedes has just come in there, and they're already clear of us, and the whole pit stop clear of us, as we're right on the back then of the Latifi. And I was thinking, maybe if we could follow through turn 1 and 2, we could get a good run down to this heavy braking there in turn 3. We're very close to having a look there. Again, we'll just try at this point, I think, fill the mirrors, I think, of that Williams, and maybe try and force them into a mistake here then, and maybe, put a bit of pressure on Williams here then, because, are they, squabbling with each other? Are they stirring each other up? These kind of mind games could, factor in. But it is Russell then who blinks first, then the first of the Williams to come in then off those soft tyres, and that is now going to hopefully leave possibly Latifi exposed to an attack from the 2 of these HRT cars, as a lot more cars came in there. In fact, Latifi then only stayed it out 1 more lap, and in he goes then for his pit stop. Gasly then, it looked like, is also in, and so is Ricciardo, Giovinazzi and Sainz there. And by lap 11 we were still staying out some more cars in the pits, and in HRT's first race then, we are going to have both cars then, albeit for a very short amount of time, running in the points, so that is nice to see there. We're not miles off the pace. There's something here that we can build on and work towards, and turn into hopefully something great one day. As into the pits we can then for the team's first pit stop in Formula 1. It's been a positive opening stint then. We did lose the position to the two Williams, but then towards the end of it we did manage to put the pressure back on them, and we'll see now then where we will be after this pit stop. As out we come then from our stop, 3.1 seconds, and we'll see where they are. Russell, it looks like he's going to go through, but we may just have jumped the teeth here. It's going to be very close here down into turn 1. It looks like we've just done enough, but we're going to have to watch out on cold tyres. He's certainly going to use that as an opportunity to attack here. We're going to have to go into overtake mode, and he's going to still go for it there around the outside, but we just about managed to force him out there and maintain position. We'll see now then where our teammate is going to come out in all this then, because we managed to get a bit of an overcut there on Latifi. As our lot managed to do the same, well, it certainly doesn't look like it, unfortunately for him, and he has dropped back quite a bit then. And yeah, that still extra lap doesn't seem to have worked out well at all from there, in fact. So that's a bit of a shame to see. The TT starts to lose pace a bit as well here then, so I'm not sure. I think maybe the Williams driver there having a bit of an issue. So yeah, we certainly have a lot less pressure on us behind at this point, and it's now looking like it could be a bit of a duel here then between us and George Russell, as Magnussen, Norris and Ocon all look like they have been back into the pits then. So this could be a battle then for 16th place, which is a few places higher than I was thinking that we may well be battling for today. So yeah, that is an encouraging sign to see. As on to lap 17 then, where, as I was saying, it is looking like it's going to be a head-to-head duel then between these two British drivers then, and Russell then just about with the advantage at this stage, but we're closing in then. We're in DRS range, we've got a nice bit of ERS saved up then, so we can use overtake to attack him here into some of these heavy braking zones and some of these long straights. Out of the final corner then towards turn 1, I think it's going to be quite hard to get a move done here on the brakes then. We are using overtake and DRS then to really set us one up. We've got to get these first two corners perfectly then, and if we do that we are in a good position here to go for a move into turn 3. Russell is going to go defensive then. We look to the outside, we're late on the brakes, but we're slightly too late, and we run a little bit wide there, and Russell is going to maintain the position then for the time being, as Sergio Perez is the first retirement of the 2020 season then, and that is going to have gained us another place then because he was somewhere up the road ahead of us there. So yeah, this is now a battle then for 15th, but as you can see on the positions there, we've got a few seconds behind us, and Esteban Ocon has closed up to him, so we're going to be under pressure then, possibly from some faster cars then, that Renault, possibly the McLaren and the Haas coming through as well then at some point. As once again then we get turns 1 and 2 just how we wanted them. Russell once again goes defensive. This time we've got to try and get our brake in just right. Russell, it seemed it was a bit later on the brake set, but we managed to get the line just right there, hang on right on the outside of turn 3, get the inside line for turn 4, and we make the move and we're up to 15th position, and we managed to move ourselves up then into we're 5 places higher now than where we started, so this has been a very encouraging first race for us, and hopefully it will continue to stay that way then. It may be a bit hard for us to maintain some of these positions, but as we look behind us then, and our teammate Callum Ilott is also going to make his way past Williams, so this has turned into a very strong opening race for us then. It looks like we are certainly faster than at least one of the teams, so that is very encouraging to see, as we see that move once again from on board the Ferrari junior driver there still, even though he's in a Mercedes powered car now, makes his way past who is actually a Mercedes junior driver there, as Romain Grosjean then is out of the race on lap 24. So that's going to get us another place here then, but we've now got Ocon less than half a second behind us. There's yellow flags out as he's going for the move. The safety car is out. We slow down and Ocon has overtaken us. We're going to try and gain that place back, but no, it's an illegal overtake, and that I'm pretty sure is not right. We're going to have a look at this again then, because that looked like to me like he passed it when the safety car was out there. The green flag now, he's looking to make the move, then the safety car comes out. Now we're still ahead, we slow down for our delta, and then he overtakes us. So I really don't know how that could have been legal, what he just did there. but we've lost a place then. I mean, he would have passed us anyway then. So it's not a big deal, but you know, he's passed us when the safety car was already out there, in my mind. So I think he should have had a penalty, but he didn't. It wouldn't let us repass him. So yeah, he's through. He would have passed us anyway, but it's just annoying that he had to, yeah, do it illegally, I think. But yeah, the safety car is going to be back in then with just 2 laps to go in this race, so we can turn things up a bit here then, and hopefully, well, maybe try and get these positions, well, that position back. But I think it's going to be quite hard, because I think most people are now just going to be going for it for these final 2 laps, because, you know, fuel's not going to be much of a concern. There's going to be, you know, a lot of batteries charged up, and I think everyone is just going to be going for it for these final 2 laps. So it might be a little bit hard for us then to gain anything back in this one. But yeah, we'll see what we can do then. We're going to have to watch out for our teammate behind us as well then, as we head out of turn 2 then onto the curb. We have a huge wobble there, just managed to save it thankfully, but yeah, that certainly put a bit of pressure on us then from our teammate behind us. But yeah, luckily we managed to brake late enough then to stay ahead. A yellow flag came out very briefly there for some reason. I have no idea why, because there was no instant that I could see that happened. But anyway, we're on to the final lap of the race now then, and we managed to stay then with this midfield group just about then, as sort of everyone was continuing to push. But yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to gain anything more then on this final lap, but still, it's been a very positive, I would say, opening race for the team. We are 15th and 16th out of 20, so there are 4 cars still running that are going to be behind us at the end of this race. So that is, I think, something that we can, you know, be yeah, very encouraged about. It's a very solid start then for the team, and we've now just got 2 more corners then to complete what will be a very solid opening Grand Prix for HRT. As out of the final corner we come then, we can see a checkered flag in the distance. We cross the line. It's going to be 15th and 16th place for the team then in our first ever Grand Prix. And yeah, I think that's a very solid start then, as we have a look then at the driver of the day. Someone show us him, but it is Lance Stroll. So he is the driver of the day then for this first Grand Prix, as Mattia Binotto then does something that you'll never be seeing in real life, and that is celebrating, you know, a Ferrari win, because, you know, I mean, he really, I mean, I'll be amazed if he manages to get us a win, because yeah, they're doing pretty terribly, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's shown in the game before long, with yeah, some performance updates coming and yeah, dropping them down quite a bit. As we see Kimi there in the points. Again, I don't think we're going to be seeing much of that happening for much longer, but yeah, sadly. But yeah, nonetheless, then we're now going to see, I think, the podium. And yeah, loading time has taken quite a while on this game, I have to say. I've noticed it a bit more than in some of the previous ones, as we are now going to finally see then the podium with the Ferrari 1-2 then, led by Sebastian Vettel. And yeah, how many more races will he have at Ferrari then? We know he's leaving in real life, but will he be leaving in the game? We'll have to wait and see, I guess. Driver transfers are all part of this. Retirements can now happen, like drivers, the older drivers can step down. So yeah, who knows? How long will we be seeing, you know, 2 of the most iconic names there, Vettel and Hamilton, in the same? We'll have to wait and see then. Leclerc could be, you know, world champion many times in this. He could even be on our team someday. But yep, it is Vettel that won then that race from Leclerc and Hamilton. Albon there, quite a solid result there to beat Bottas and also his teammate there, Verstappen. Carlos Sainz in 7th, Raikkonen in 8th, Ricciardo getting a couple of points at his home race then, and Giovinazzi running out the points. But yep, there's the big news there then. We were 15th and 16th then, Holloway Racing Team. A very solid start for the team there then. And yeah, just the one retirement. As yeah, the 2 Ferrari drivers then, as obviously they lead the way so far. And in the constructors then, we're ahead of both Williams and Haas, so that is very encouraging then. We are 9th out of 11 so far, so yeah, we're already ahead of 2 teams then after just 1 race.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you? You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret? Appreciate your time.
A promising start indeed then, as we unlocked that achievement there. But yeah, we didn't just complete the first weekend, we managed to beat some cars as well. So yeah, I think the team will be in good spirits then heading into future races, and they'll be even happier once I've sorted out those race suits there, so that we actually match the car that we're driving. But yeah, that'll be all happening then in the next episode. As yeah, a little bit of damage then in that one. Obviously, back in FP1 we did that. We bumped the front wing a bit, so yeah, that wasn't ideal, but still made quite a bit of profit from that race. So that's good to see, because we need all the funds we can get then, being brand new to the grid, and yeah, we do very much need to upgrade our car, upgrade our facilities, and yeah, before we can think about challenging the big boys in Formula 1. But yeah, we're heading back now into team headquarters, and the next race will be the Bahrain Grand Prix in just a week's time, I believe. So yeah, it's going to be a quick turnaround there then. Won't be much time to get much work done, but yeah, we'll be back then for that race then in just a few days, then head into the Bahrain Grand Prix, and we'll be hoping for another strong result there then. So thank you for watching this first episode of my team on F1 2020. Hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you next time then for round 2 in Bahrain. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.